video on your YouTube page, helping. It was supposed to help a guy grow a beard better. As you can
Yeah.
see, so when I found out I was gonna interview you, I was like, I won't shave for the next few days. So I got a little bit. How can I? How can you got any tips? Anything I can do to make it bigger? Because you don't have a beard right now, but in
Yeah.
that video, you had a pretty good one.
Yeah, honestly, like I was a friend of mine told me about that product, and then I was like start using it, and like no, like 3 4 months, my beard like woof got huge. So honestly, that's it. Just using that product, man, it helped me. Um, I'm very low maintenance, guys. Like, I don't really like do a lot of crazy stuff on my face, but when they told me like, hey, if because I was getting ready for I shouldn't be saying this. It was kind of like conflict of interest, but I was getting ready for a movie set, and I supposed to look like Kratos, God of War.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, so I was growing my beard for that, and I ended up not getting the part, but basically that's what it was for, and my beard grew like fast, very fast, and that's it, man. Just using that product helped me a lot.
I had to ask because that was the first thing I noticed on your YouTube page was that, and then your music, which you said you have an album coming out.
Yes, my new album coming up is it's called From Ashes to Flames. It's actually the name of the album is gonna be in Spanish, but half of the music is English and Spanish. It's a mix of hip hop, R&B, and kind of like inspirational video music and lyrics as well. Very meaningful, powerful lyrics that kind of like inspire people like to keep going, to keep pushing forward, and also a lot of the songs are connected to the consciousness, the chakras, the energies, the
Mhm.
frequencies and stuff like that. And also I have a couple bangers like I don't know, to chill and hang out with your friends and like to dance and I don't know, just to have fun and enjoy life, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And does that music go hand in hand with your book?
Yes, that album is it has the same name of my book, my new coming book coming is From Ashes to Flames. In Spanish, flames means llamas, and llamas is my last name. So it has like a double, triple meaning, basically from nothing to something. But it also has my last name from ashes to llamas. Llamas is my last name, but also llamas it means flames in if you translate it in English. So it's basically I grew up in a really poor neighborhood, like a really bad neighborhood, and it was really tough. So basically, I'm explaining my story on the book, like all the crazy things that we had to do as a kid, all the challenges and adversities that we went through as a kid, and then it changed my life. I started doing music, acting, fighting, competing, teaching. So it changed my entire life, and it changed my perspective of life too. So I'm basically sharing that story with everybody, my life story with everybody.
You do a little bit of everything. And when does that book come out?
I'm actually working right now with the publishing, so I'm just waiting for them to let me know what day will be the best time. But I would say maybe like 2 to 3 months.
Okay, okay, perfect. So I want to talk about your relationship with Campbell McLaren because obviously you were one of the first people in this combat Americanas, one of the first fighters he got back in the very beginning. And I noticed that he's big on you. You know, he says all the time on Twitter, "You're a beast." He's a big fan of yours. He knows what you're capable of. So for you coming off of a bare knuckle match and a boxing match, what's it like for him to say, "I believe in you," to go into the main event and put on a show?
But the fight's gonna be the co-main event. I just found out about this fight maybe like 3 weeks ago. The main event was already established. I think the main event it was some girls fighting on the main event, and they asked me like 3 weeks ago if I wanted to fight, and I said yeah, I'm down to fight, and they give me a really good opponent, and but yeah, man, like Combate Americas started like 2014, but before that, they were kind of like I don't know if you know the story about Combat Americas, but what they did, they have like a different matchmakers or producers looking for like fighters, talented fighters, Hispanic talented fighters around the world, and they pick like I guess the 10 best Hispanic fighters around the world, and they put them all together to do the challenges, to
It
do
was
the
a
reality.
reality show, wasn't it?
Yeah, and in that show, right before the show. Like I had a fight versus another UFC fighter, and I threw a haymaker and I landed on his head, and I ended up breaking my thumb, like all this it was cracked. So whenever they told me about the opportunity, say like, hey, the fight, the television show is gonna be filming like in like a month in Miami. I didn't want to tell him about my hand because if I tell him, they were gonna basically kick me out of the show. So I just suck it up and went to the show. I made like a customized cast. I had a cast from here all the way here. So I cut this part and I cut this part and I shaved the parts, and I always wear a glove in the TV show. So whenever I have to do challenge like a gym glove to do weights and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that, so people doesn't see that I have a broken hand and a broken thumb right here. Like this part right here was bad, and
Mm.
so the whole challenge, they have like 11 challenges, like who has the best jiu-jitsu, the best striking, the best kickboxing, who's faster, who's smarter, who has best balance. And out of 11 challenges, I won a first place and I got three second place. So I left my competition behind with one hand, man, with one hand. And then in the final, I ended up fighting this guy, and honestly, like I took him down, I almost finished him, and they ended up giving it to him. So I was very upset about it. I was like pissed. I was like, man, how's that possible? Like they always messing up with my dreams. But they ended up giving it to him. Then me and that guy, we're supposed to fight again. Me and that guy. Now it was gonna be for the world title because the rules was whoever wins the challenges and whoever wins the combat fight is gonna get the belt. But I won the challenges and he won the combat fight. So we're supposed to like we're even. So whoever wins the next one gets the belt. That was the agreement. That was the whole deal. And it's also supposed to be an extra zero to your contract. So like $100,000 contract. Yeah.
Big deal.
So yeah, that was a big deal for me and for him too. But for some reason he chickened out. Like the fight was settled and everything, and the fight got canceled. It didn't happen. Like the whole event got canceled, and then they set it up again for May the 5th in Las Vegas. Main event again. My opponent chicken out again. So that guy basically was done, set like finish it, and so I was just waiting, and nothing happened. Nothing happened, and then um, I ended up fighting. I ended up going to fight somebody else that was irrelevant to the reality show, but without the contract, without the belt. So like it kind of like I was like, man, like I worked so hard in the TV show. I for the whole 2 months I was busting my ass with a broken hand just to like make sure I get the contract. And now like this guy's out of the competition, and I'm gonna fight this guy. It's not gonna be for the $100,000 contract, whatever there was, the belt. So I kind of like I got a little disappointed a little bit. And then but the fight didn't happen anyways, and then my contract was done with Combat Americas. So I started fighting like bare knuckle, kickboxing, more jiu-jitsu tournaments, Muay Thai, MMA, everywhere, but not for Combat Americas. I started like fighting like uh, non-exclusive contract, basically like fight at a time. I didn't want to sign a contract with anybody. I fight in Bellator, I fight in bare knuckle fighting championship. So I was like, you know what? Hopefully something good come up very soon, so I keep training, I keep working, and finally this opportunity happens again, and they asked me if I want to fight in the co-main event. Well, they didn't say the co-main event. They asked me if I want to fight on on August 2nd, and I said, yeah, let's do it. And then they announced it like a few days later that was going to be the co-main event. So oh, good, that's good. And they give me what's the name, Joaquin Lopez. But for the last 2 years of my MMA career, I supposed to fight in 7 different events. And the last week before my fight, or 3 days before my fight, or 4 days before my fight, or 2 weeks before my fight, my opponents chicken out. They cancel on me. Something
Really?
happened. So for 2 years, I haven't done MMA professionally.
Seven
Like
in a row.
yes, 7 events, no 7 fighters, 7 events. And last time I was on a fight for a world title, and here in Bakersfield, my hometown, and 7 opponents backed down in one event. In one event, so the event got canceled, and they keep giving me different guys, and I said yes, 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 yes. Even weight classes, I went to 185, and I said yes, and nothing happened. So I'm like, "Fush, man! Like this is crazy." So very, very just waiting for opportunity to fight back again in MMA, and and let's see where it goes from here, man. Hopefully, everything goes well, and I can get that welterweight title from Combate, man.
We're definitely glad you're getting this opportunity. I mean, you're only 34 years old. You know, you're great for this. This is going to be a great fight. I'm curious as to because you fought bare knuckle in February,
Yeah.
correct? And then you said you had a professional boxing match
Yes,
in June.
yes, like a month and a half ago. Yeah, in June 17, and I won my first round knockout.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's it been like switching your training regimen between bare knuckle boxing, regular boxing, and now MMA again?
Well, honestly,
In such a short span of time. I mean, that's crazy.
uh, I've been boxing like probably for the last past 3 years, 4 years. Like I've been focusing on my boxing, so I'm comfortable to either do boxing or bare knuckle, and just use my boxing for MMA. And jiu-jitsu, I train jiu-jitsu every day, Monday through Saturday, sometimes even Sunday. And MMA, maybe like 4 or 5 days a week. I train like on average, just like a regular day, I train like 4 to 5 hours a day, regular. When I have a fight, like for example, right now, I train like 10 to 12 hours a day. So the only thing I just need to adjust is just my diet, my my opponent's strategy, like try to see my opponent's weaknesses and make those my advantages. Like make sure my technique is great in that area. But a lot of people they're like, this is maybe you might think or maybe not, but a lot of people tell me like, hey, when you box, don't you confuse like maybe want to kick somebody or throw an elbow or take him down? I was like, I'm so used to because I box like almost every day. Like I do rounds like 2 3 times a week with different professional fighters, great class, world champions. So I can go back and forth with them just boxing. I know if I want, I can take them down anytime. But I just do boxing with them, and I feel comfortable. And for bare knuckle, I just have to switch a little bit of my regimen of training because something that made me a lot different from other fighters is that I'm a very educated person on the way you're supposed to train. For example, for bare knuckle, it's not the same when you punch with a bare fist like this and a glove. So you have to educate yourself on how to train, how to recover, what to eat to make your bone, the density of the bone stronger. Because when you cut weight, the density of your bone gets smaller, your ligaments get weaker, so you can get hurt if you don't train the right way or eat the right intake for your body. So the first thing I found out whenever they told me you want to fight Bernacco versus Chris Lytle, I said yes. The first thing I did is research what to eat, what not to eat, how to get my bones stronger, what type of training I should do. So I found like 1,000 different things. So I started focusing on that. A lot of fighters that do bare knuckle, that they don't educate themselves on things like that, they go punch, first punch, they break their hands. So
I
it's very
imagine
important.
not a lot of people think about that. I mean,
Yes.
that's crazy. I've never even heard a bare knuckle boxer bring that up before.
So that's something that I'm a smart fighter on how to recover, how to train, how to prepare for a fight like that. And the same thing, like when I have opponent that I know is rank opponent, like he's really good, I try to see like, okay, this guy is good at this guy is good at that, this guy is good at this. I know my opponent, he's a great boxer, but I think my boxing is better than his. He said he wrestled his whole life, but if he takes me to the ground, guess what's gonna happen? I'm ranked number one in the world for jiu-jitsu. He's gonna get submitted. So he has either one option, two options: either get knocked out or submitted. That's it. There's no way around it. So, but when I have like a tough opponent, like a really high level opponents, I make sure like I know, okay, this guy has this type of flaws. I gotta make sure I practice this, and make a strategy for that. But when I have opponents that they're like, okay, I don't really worry too much. I focus more on my weakness, what I'm weak on, and fix it, make it stronger.
Do you watch a lot of film on your opponents?
For this opponent, not really. I see a couple of his fights on YouTube, maybe like 4 or 5 times. I just noticed he had like a good. His boxing is decent, but I fight like world champion boxers, and he's not even close to that. So, and I can go back and forth with those guys. So I know if I can punch these guys, I'm definitely gonna punch these guys. So I'm not really too worried about my opponent, honestly. I mean, I don't underestimate anybody. Believe me that I don't underestimate anybody, but I don't think there's no way he can beat me. There's no way he can beat me. And so I know for sure he's gonna come and bring it, and I know for sure what I'm capable of too. So I know either first round knockout or first round submission. That's for sure.
Well, there you have it. That's it right there. I mean, that's about as confident as it gets. I don't have any more questions for you. I appreciate the time. Good luck August 2nd. You're going to see me in Fresno. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have a huge beard, just like you did in that video. You're not even
That's
going to
good.
recognize me. You're not even going to recognize me.
That's good, man. That's good. I wanna also something. I don't know if you're familiar, but I started like when I say educate myself, like I try to figure it out, like what can I do to my body the right way so my career lasts longer, stay strong. So I found that about. I don't know if you're familiar with the stem cells.
Really?
Yes, stem cells, the best treatment. Like, but it's kind of expensive, but if you health is everything for
How,
athletes. And
how often do you use stem cells?
well, I barely got my first treatment like not too long ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, and man, it's a big difference. A lot of professional fighters that have the money to do it, they fly out of the country or they go to like a specific location to get a stem cell treatment and help you recover faster. Like if you like instead of having surgery and removing the meniscus or half a meniscus or try to repair the meniscus, you just get a stem cell shot and the stem cell will regenerate the meniscus. So basically, it just make you stronger, faster. The recovery time is better, and they don't have to cut you open. And it's believe me, when I first I was very skeptical about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it because I had a couple injuries back then, and I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. I have a lot of friends that done it, not a lot of friends, like 3 4 friends, and they told me, bro, this thing works. But there's different ways that you can get it. Like some of them they extract the stem cells from the hip, some of them they take the stem cells from the umbilical cord. So I was like, you know what? Um, which one is better? So I found out that from the umbilical cord are a lot better. So I found a place where they have that one. I was gonna fly to Miami to do it, and then they told me, you know what? In your hometown, there's a guy, a Doctor Kirk Collins from Envista Medical. He does the best work, bro, for stem cells. So I went, I talked to him for a little bit, and 2 days later, after I got my treatment, I feel like a new person, bro. I was like, holy mother, what? Amazing.
Really?
It makes me train faster. It made me train better, less injuries, feel healthier, and there's no like it's so natural. You know what I mean? There's no like hormones or anything like that. It's so
No.
natural, like 100% no side effects. So like I'm blessed to be able to get it before my fight.
Is that a big thing in the fight world? I mean, do a lot of fighters use that as a method?
Yes and no, because I be honest, bro. Like even UFC, they don't pay that much. Like UFC fighters, they get like 8,000, $10,000 to fight,
Mhm.
and another 8,000 to win, and half of that money is gone because they had to pay taxes, they had to pay their coach, they had to pay the agencies, they had to pay this. So by the end, by the paycheck, they get like 5,000, $6,000. A full body treatment of stem cells is like $10,000 to $30,000. So not many fighters can afford that. Not many fighters can afford that. So, uh, but and because it's a new medicine, I guess it's something new. A lot, none of the insurance pay for it. It have to come out of your pocket because it's a new medicine. So they have to wait like maybe like 10, 20 years for the insurance to be able to qualify to pay for that. You know what I mean? Because it's a new I don't know the name of it, but I was reading about it. Like even Joe Rogan was talking on his podcast. Like Tiger Woods, that guy is a millionaire. So he goes do the stem cells all the way in Germany or like different places because he has the money. I think TJ Dillashaw was doing it too. A lot of fighters that have the money to do it, they do it. But a lot of pro fighters in UFC or Bellator or Combate or whatever, they cannot afford it. It's expensive. It's expensive. But if you get like a one shot, maybe a shot is like a $3,000, $2,000, $3,000. So it's worth it because if you're gonna make like $10,000 in a fight, and you pull out of the fight because you got hurt, but you should do the stem cell shot and then take the fight. You know, if you guys have time enough to heal up. You know, it doesn't heal from one day to another. It takes like maybe 3, 4, 5 days, maybe a week or two, depends how injured you are.
That's incredible. I mean, I feel like more fighters would do it if they got paid more. You're 100% correct. But once you take out stuff from managers and all of that you stated, they're left with not a lot. Something needs to be fixed there, but
Yeah,
we
and they
don't.
don't allow, yeah, and UFC they don't allow the sponsors. You know what I mean? So like,
The
it's
Reebok
not
thing
like that
killed
what it
that.
used to be. So sometimes a lot of fighters like they don't want to fight in UFC because half of the paycheck is gone from the sponsor because they don't have the sponsors. And also talking about sponsors, I have my fight shirt. It's called "The King is Back." The King is back, and I have this shirt for $25, shipping for free to all the US. And I want to give a big shout out to all my sponsors right here. I'm going to give a shout out to La Familia Records, Gutierrez and Tires, Suchinola, Cervantes Spring Shop, Manny Masotherapy, Dr. Jerry Marquez Chiropractor, Irene Sanchez MD, also Havash Dodge Ram here in Bakersfield, and also my friend from Envista Medical. Thank you for the stem cells, and I'm really grateful for all the love and support. And thank you too for like this amazing interview, man.
Yeah, of course. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing you August 2nd. Hopefully he doesn't pull out of the
No,
event. We'll keep our fingers crossed. But that's all I got, man. So I hope you have a great one.
you too, man. Take care. Oh, follow me on my Instagram at
Oh
JC
yeah,
Llamas
sorry.
MMA. Yes, follow me on my Instagram, JC Llamas MMA, and also Facebook at JC Llamas. My athlete page, JC Llamas MMA, and anything you guys need, let me know. Hit me up.